Welcome to the Musicians Mobile Show. We got Earnest Little the Third. Let me tell you about Earnest, guys. Ernest, he began studying music and playing the piano at the age of 3. He studied music at the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, the University of Pacific, and San Jose State, where he earned a BM in piano performance. We're proud to say he is one of our teachers here at Musicians Mobile, and he believes in smart practice habits to maximize your time and effort with your lesson plan that will engage you in a fun and interesting way. What's great about Earnest is he can play classical music, he can teach you R&B, pop, top 40, Broadway, and even your favorite Disney songs. Welcome to the show, Earnest. How you doing, man?
Thank you, Nate. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm ready to talk about some piano. And why is the piano your instrument of choice?
The piano is the instrument that stuck with me. My dad, he kind of, made me, take piano lessons early on. And I also took, violin lessons, and I did a lot of other things too, like ballet and tap and theater. Piano is just one of those that just really stuck with me, and I just always had a connection with the piano. And the piano is like a good gateway instrument to other instruments.
Some parents wonder why it is a good gateway instrument.
So the piano, it has a broad range of pitches, and the piano can try to emulate most instruments, all the way from a violin down to a cello. A lot of orchestral arrangements can be arranged for the piano. The piano has bass clef, the piano has treble clef. So you are able to read 2 different clefs at the same time.
Right.
A lot of other instruments, what are you doing? You're just reading 1 clef at one time. Another thing about the piano, you're using both of your hands, your arms, and your feet. So you kind of got to be a little athletic and you got to have hand-eye coordination also to play the piano. So piano, if you can play the piano, I feel that you can play almost any instrument.
Nice. Not to mention you can sing along to it, which is always a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Depending on your voice.
I have to ask my neighbors about that, about how beautiful it is.
We won't ask the neighbors about that. I'm sure they love the piano part, but the voice, I don't know. I haven't heard you sing yet, but I imagine there's a tone in there.
There's somewhere in there.
Let's talk about performance. Are you nervous before your performances? And if so, how do you go about overcoming nerves?
I don't really get nervous anymore. But before, I got nervous a lot. And I tried to figure out how to kind of work with that energy. If I get nervous, I kind of lose focus. My hands start sweating. I might slip off the keys. So I have to really contain that energy so I don't do any of those things when I'm performing. Right. So instead of, thinking to myself, okay, why am I nervous? Well, I'm nervous because I'm afraid that something bad is going to happen. Well, what bad is going to happen? I might mess up and people might laugh at me. That's not going to happen. But instead of thinking that, I think, I worked really hard on this performance. I put a lot of time and effort, put a lot of good energy into it. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to rock it. I'm going to nail it. And so I use that energy and it kind of gets me hyped up instead of kind of like, just out there like, okay, I hope I get through this. Now I'm going out there like, I know I can get through this. I can do this.
So you got that positive piano self-talk down.
Yeah.
That's inspiring.
Yes, and that just comes from, getting out there also and performing. I had to figure this out for myself. Teachers helped, of course, but I like to see this in my students, self-discovery. You have to go out there and kind of experience it for yourself and discover it for yourself.
What's one performance experience for you that really stands out where you felt like you were just really in the moment, giving your best?
So there's two different answers on that one. My teachers would say my senior recital, a performance with Brahms variations, Chopin Ballade number 4, a first movement of the Tchaikovsky Concerto number 1. And I thought I did really well with that performance. And my teachers, they loved it. And so I was really appreciative of that. But for me, my best, my favorite, my all-time greatest moment is when I was a senior in high school.
Okay.
And I performed, and it's funny how it comes full circle. I actually performed Tchaikovsky's Concerto number 1 with the Stockton Symphony. And
wow.
That performance right there, like, to me, that was extremely special. And I got to go on tour with them for 3 performances. And the last one at a church, which unfortunately was not videotaped. It's a magnificent church, big, tall ceilings, organs, just acoustics are just wonderful. And yeah, that was my best performance, I feel, and that was my most satisfying one.
Take me into the moment. Take me, what were you feeling or going through or seeing? What was it like?
Going up on stage, looking at the crowd. For that piece is also one of my favorite pieces. So I didn't have like a nervous energy. I really had like a, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
And so I'm looking at the crowd, I'm smiling, and it's feeding me. And then I go sit down at the piano. I make eye contact with, I try to make eye contact with most of the orchestra members, try to glance over. And then you give your nod to the first, principal violinist. And then you let the conductor know that you're ready. And once that happens,
all eyes on Earnest.
It is really all eyes, and all the focus is on you. Not only the orchestra, you got the crowd, and it's really quite the experience to have all that power, all that sound coming at you from one direction, but you're in complete control of it, and you're kind of just distributing that energy to the crowd.
Right.
And I always kind of like that power.
I could imagine. It's to have a whole symphony at your back or your support, and then playing to a nice full house audience. I've never done that, man. I can only imagine, because there's something so special about the symphony with piano and just the grandiose nature of it.
Yeah, and afterwards, you go out for, multiple, bows, because you get a standing ovation. And,
you got a standing ovation.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
And
well, we brought the house down. It's bound to happen.
Yeah, you just tear the roof off, of course,
Yep.
And and they had some flowers brought for me and everything, and
got to bring flowers.
Yeah, it was quite nice. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Definitely the experience. Yeah.
Speaking on students now, what kind of teaching moments bring you the most fulfillment?
So yeah, I think I brought this up earlier. I actually did bring this up earlier, but it is self-discovery. To me, as a teacher, I find it really satisfying when I can teach them in a way where they kind of self-discover their own issues or their own drawbacks. And so you kind of guide them along the way and give them the right hints and clues. And then when they see the answer for themselves, it's like, oh, wait,
Right.
is it this right here? And you're like, yeah, you got it. It is that. See, you could do it.
It's that light bulb.
Yeah, did it. Mom, look, I did it. I did it.
Right.
Yeah, so that's definitely very satisfying.
What do you like? What attributes do you see in piano students who excel?
Determination, focus. I see creativity, and it's not just can you be virtuoso on the piano. You know,
Right.
I feel that can be learned. You know, over time.
So it's not
But those
something you're born with, but it can be learned, because that some people think you're born and natural at certain things, and
well,
born or made is the debate sometimes.
well, I do believe that you are born with the talent,
Mm-hmm.
but what you do with that talent, you know, you have to work at it.
Right.
And a person who has, you know, mediocre or average talent, if he works really hard, he can be very successful. A person who has a bunch of talent but shows no drive, unfocused, doesn't want to practice, it's not going to be successful.
Mm.
So even though this person had more talent than
Right.
this person, it didn't matter because of the intangibles that, yeah. And when you have a natural talent, plus you have the intangibles, then you can really see your natural talent go to work.
I see.
Yeah.
For beginners, what mindset should they adopt as they start their piano journey?
Enthusiasm.
Mm.
I like that. I like when they have enthusiasm, because that tells me that they're going to practice. You know, I like to assign theory, homework, but it's not really homework. It's more like activities. So, you know, you kind of frame it that way.
How do you give feedback to students where they get the feedback and they improve from it?
It kind of depends on the student.
So one size doesn't
students-
fit all, I guess, sounds like what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely one size does not fit all. I have a student that she is a practical jokester.
Mm.
So she likes to say jokes and does things. And so, you know, I can joke with her, you know,
Right.
I can, you know, joke with her about, hey, you know, you need to get this right. For whatever reason, you know, maybe you're a little unfocused right now, but let's bring it down. Because I know you can do this. All right. You've shown that you can do it before. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's knock this out. And then we can go move on, learn more of the song, and continue having fun. So that's one way of dealing with someone with like high energy, you know.
Mm.
Some kids may be a little sensitive to making mistakes, you know, and they're like, oh no, I can't believe I made a mistake. And they will literally hit the piano.
They beat themselves up.
Yeah, you know. And some kids will literally do that. They'll like, I'm like, hey, don't hit yourself in the head.
Right.
Don't need that.
It's not good for you.
Trust me, that's not going to help you be smarter at this, you know.
Right. Yeah. They are. Some kids are too hard on themselves sometimes.
Yeah. So you don't need to really add to that. Mm-hmm. You know, if, you know, I can see that you're struggling with it. I say, you know what, you know, I really like the effort that you're putting into it. I can really tell that you're working real hard at this. Yes. And I'm going to help you get this, you know, so we're just going to take this step by step. And yeah, you know, I try to make a concerted effort that shows that the student can see that, you know, I'm just as invested in making sure that you get this as you are.
I like that. Can you describe your process for learning a song?
Analyze the music as best as you can. You try to figure out things that you know, trying to see and point out things that you don't know. This can happen. And in cases like that, you come across something you may not know. There's a musical dictionary.
Oh,
Just in
there we go.
case.
There we go. There's the secret method right there, or not so secret.
Yeah, you got to have tools. So you have your dictionary in case there's terms that you come across. I look for other clues. What is the tempo marking? Who is the composer? The composer can tell you a great deal about what era it's from, and therefore what style it's going to be. So after that, then you kind of look at the song itself. How is it structured? Is it in what format is it in? Is it in your like an ABA? Or is it in your sonata format and with your expositions and all that? And so you kind of determine what format is in, and then well, if it's an ABA format, I only have to learn A, B, and then it goes back to A. So
Okay.
You kind of like
it's like a musical
break it down.
Yeah, break it down, and sounds like you're looking for patterns and
exactly. That's actually one of the things I always tell my students. Music is full of patterns.
Right.
Yeah, so you just got to look for it, So, and that's what I do.
Yeah, sometimes I look for the patterns, and then I look for that. There's always some song has something like weird or unique about it. It's special to that song. It could be the bridge, or where's the patterns, and then where's the spots that are breaking, doing something very interesting or unique.
Yeah, and sometimes you're not going to get it all the time. You might have to listen to YouTube or listen to a CD or DVD, record player, whatever you have.
Right.
Cassette. But for me, I kind of do that as a last resort. That just kind of always been my thing. But a lot of professors, doctors in music, they promote, go ahead, listen to this professional recording artist.
Right.
Listen to how they do it. You don't have to copy them, but just kind of listen to it. I like to kind of learn the song and then make it my own after that.
What do you hope for your students?
I hope that they are successful in whatever they choose to do, and that what I teach them in our time together, that it can contribute to that in a meaningful way. As a teacher, I take this serious. I consider myself a mentor too, and I have a lot of life experiences I can draw upon. And I don't think there's a teacher out there that doesn't want their students to be successful. But for me, it doesn't just have to be in music. It doesn't just have to be in piano. These intangibles they can travel wherever you go, to any job, computer science, business management. I just, hope that, they remember our teachings and just remember these intangibles of being determined and focused and, setting goals for yourself, and achieving those goals and looking at the big picture at the same time.
That patience, discipline, and that can be applied to so many areas of life.
Yeah, especially with Western European music, usually like if you're good at math, you're able to kind of understand music a little easier. And vice versa. If you understand music, you're able to understand math a little easier.
What's a good starting point to maybe introduce someone to classical music?
I tend to go with things that they recognize. That's always a good, place to start. And usually you can go to movies for that or TV shows.
Oh, right.
There's a lot of, songs out there that necessarily that they'll recognize, but they won't be able to play, So if you have a good teacher, maybe they can arrange something for you.
Right. Simplified version, maybe?
Exactly.
Okay.
Usually you have to go try to find like an easy version of, a song or things that you are familiar with. So for me, with, my students, they don't want to play classical music. Okay. So we'll have a couple pop songs or whatever songs. And, okay, well, let's throw in like a nursery rhyme song. How about
Okay.
that? It's not classical music. It's not pop music.
Right.
Okay. Hey, look at that. You did it really well. You want to try a different song?
Yes.
Next thing you can try to sneak in like Fur Release or Minuet in G.
Okay.
I like Minuet in G because that introduction is one hand position.
Okay.
And then you can, I like to toss in other songs too, to lead into classical music. You got Broadway, and then you got like Sound of Music. And a lot of these Disney songs too, they got that too. Where you can kind of lead them into other songs. And then once you start expanding, their horizons a little bit, say, oh, you know what? I do kind of like this. And you know what? I do like this classical music, but I don't like this classical music.
I see.
And that's fine.
I see.
But when but to just completely shut something out without really knowing or hearing or understanding it, I think students are receptive and open to learning more. They don't want to be completely shut out. So it's just a matter of how you approach it.
Well, it sounds like you start with where their interests currently are, and then you have these bridge or gateway songs that they might recognize that are kind of classically oriented, and it starts to open their mind up to this new sound, and then from there they become more receptive to these classical pieces.
Also,
yeah.
And I understand now that times are different, but I would always encourage my students to go out to a live concert and experience the live concert.
Yes,
is much better live,
right,
than just sitting at home, kind of like, oh, I got to listen to this for this class.
Right.
Go out, go with your friend. Even if you just go to half the concert, just go out, support. And then afterwards, you can go hang out with your friends and talk about if you liked it or if you didn't like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing like seeing a classical performance in person and just having that music surround you and fill the auditorium. That's a special experience that kids, they have to experience it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, thanks for this, Ernest. This has been a fantastic interview. We're so lucky to have you as part of our teaching staff. And I appreciate you dropping these gems here, sharing your teaching knowledge, and you're just great spirit with our students, and wish you a happy holidays, man. Take care and stay safe.
Thanks, Nate. That's what I do.
Signing off. Any final words?
Keep practicing and have fun.